Skyrim is filled to the brim with epic questlines and unique factions, but often some of the coolest quests are the smaller ones, the ones that aren't handed right to you, the ones that aren't part of any central storyline. You come across characters and scenarios that may not be related to the main plot, but flesh out the world and make your experience feel alive and unpredictable. In this video, we're going to pay homage to some of those amazing side quests that took Skyrim beyond the Civil War and the Dragonborn prophecy. For that reason, we're obviously leaving out the main story, the factions, and the Civil War, instead focusing on the individual quests which don't fall into any of these categories. We're also going to leave out Daedric quests, as we've already made a separate video for these, and we're not touching DLC either. Let us know if you want a top DLC side quests video, but for this one, we're sticking to the classic ultra original Skyrim. Here are the top 5 side quests, ranked on a combination of our personal enjoyment and also how well put together they are. The number 5 top side quest in Skyrim on our list is called Lights Out. This quest promises treasure but ends in treachery. The quest begins with a conniving Argonian named Jari Ra. He lets the Dragonborn in on a little scheme involving an Imperial ship scheduled to dock in Solitude very soon. He proposes causing the ship to wreck in order to rob it of its booty. You'll get to share in the spoils, of course. Your job is to head to Solitude Lighthouse to put out the fire, causing the ship to crash. Then you'll head to the wreck in order to meet with this Argonian sister and get your share of the loot. Unfortunately, these sneaky siblings were up to no good. They planned to double-cross you all along. When you enter the ship, you find that all of the Imperial crew members have been slaughtered by Deja, his sister, and her rather impressive gang, called the Blackblood Marauders. For your assistance, she offers you a quick death. However, as you'd expect, not even a whole gang with cool face paint could defeat the Dragonborn. After defeating her, it's time for vengeance on the lizard who got you into the situation in the first place, Jari Ra. By reading the note on his sister's corpse, you can find out that he's laying low in a base at Broken Ore Grotto. This is a seriously cool place, with all of the shantytown looking scaffolding and the ships that have been docked, or stuck inside actually due to a cave-in. When you defeat Jari Ra and the leader of the Blackblood Marauders, Captain Hagar, you can read all about this in Hagar's diary. It's a neat place, and you get to pillage Hagar's secret stash of loot too. After defeating this slimy Argonian and his cronies, it's almost as if being betrayed was worth the fun adventure. Coming in at number 4 is a quest that starts with a little suspicion and ends with a huge discovery. This quest is called Laid to Rest, and it takes place in the quiet snowy town of Morthal. The home of one of the locals, Hrogar, burned down, cremating alive his poor wife and child. This would just be a standard tragedy if it wasn't for the rumor that Hrogar had coincidentally been shacking up with a new love, a pretty young Nord named Alva. Suddenly, this accident reeks of arson. After becoming the case detective yourself, you soon discover the ghost of Hrogar's daughter, Helgi. She will only give you the information if you play some hide and seek with her late at night, so it's all very spooky from the get-go. You're then attacked by Leylette, the missing wife of another local, and it turns out that she was a vampire. You then learn that she planned to burn down the house, but at the last minute decided to try and turn Helgi into a vampire too. Regardless of this, the fire killed Helgi anyway. You also learn that Leylette had dealings with Hrogar's new lover, Alva. They were supposed to meet up on the night of her disappearance, so perhaps Alva is now a vampire too. Going straight to a house, you discover this to be the case, and you also learn in her journal that a master vampire named Movarth plans to turn the entire town into what is essentially a blood farm for him and his coven. What seemed like a typical murderous love affair turned out to be far more sinister. It then falls upon the Dragonborn and Thonir, if you choose to bring him, to take down the vampires and their cruel leader. Uncovering this mystery is a lot of fun, as is slaying those blood-sucking fiends. I just wish there was an option for vampires to join Movarth and enslave Morthal. That would have been very cool. If you thought the next quest on the list would be a little less grim, you'd be mistaken. Coming in at number 3 is Blood on the Ice, and in this quest, the Dragonborn must take down an unidentified serial killer. It's a much more classic murder mystery than the last one. This serial killer has killed at least 3 young women by the time the Dragonborn arrives in Windhelm, and the latest victim's corpse can be found in the cemetery. One of the great things about this quest is the multitude of outcomes and methods of completing it. You'll find many dialogue options offering closure, but they may not be the best choice to pick. The investigation can take you all around Windhelm, one of the coolest places being the house that the butcher uses to hide in himself, where you find bloodied journals, a secret door, and a spooky altar with a strange amulet. You take the amulet to Calixto, who is the city expert of all strange antiquities, and he says it belongs to the court mage. You'll then have the chance to accuse the court mage of the murders, but when a body appears outside Candlehearth Hall 3 days later, it becomes clear that the crook is still at large. The court mage denies accusations of necromancy and gives the Dragonborn the location of the next planned attack. Upon entering the marketplace, you'll see it is Calixto, the shopkeeper and the expert of antiquities, who is about to murder this woman. The identity of the woman will actually differ depending on your prior investigative choices. If done correctly and you take down Calixto, you can get your hands on the Necromancer's amulet and finally put an end to the terror that has continually struck the icy streets of Windhelm. Taking out the silver, we have Rise in the East. This quest gets spot number 2 for being so cool and unexpected. What you think is just gonna be a simple fetch quest or something basic turns out to be a massive assault on an island settlement with explosive arrows flying down on your enemies and an epic battle between you and a mage who is using his powers to defend the island with a mystical fog. It begins simpler than this, with drama between the East Empire Company and the Shadow Shields, who are both financial competitors. It turns out that a band of pirates known as the Bloodhawkers have been making life difficult for the East Empire Company, and after some investigation, it turns out that the Shadow Shields have actually hired the pirates to do so. They want to dominate trade in Skyrim's ports, of course, and will stoop that low to destroy their competitors. Luckily, as the Dragonborn, you don't agree with these illegal tactics, and it now falls on your shoulders to join the assault against the pirates in a beach offensive on an offshore island. A blanket of haze looms over the island, cast by the Bloodhawkers' leader, the mage Halden. In order to get to him, you need to sneak into his tower via a secluded sea cave. Halden is no novice mage, of course, and uses powerful shock magic and healing spells. He proves to be a tough opponent, and once he's dealt with, things don't get much calmer. Killing him does cause the mists to clear, but then you need to make it back to the escape boat while avoiding the explosions happening all around you. The East Empire Company's support vessels are bombarding the shore, and you're fighting your way out of there, slaying pirates as things go boom like a true badass. Finally, taking the crown for our favorite side quest, also including the mini side quests within it, is the Forsworn Conspiracy. You walk into Markarth and the first thing you see in this beautiful city is a woman stabbed to death right before your eyes. It seems like a normal murder until people start yelling about the Forsworn and the guards come and hush it all over. You're then approached by a man named Eltrus, who explains that the Forsworn killed his father and that this attack was likely linked to this. Upon further investigation, the guards, alongside other mysterious characters, begin to threaten the Dragonborn, warning him to stay out of it. After continuing to investigate the Forsworn presence in Markarth, Eltrus wants to meet with you at the city shrine to discuss your findings, but once you get there, he's face down on the ground, lifeless. Guards are standing around his body, and they frame this murder on you. Throughout your investigation and up until this point, the quest has a very intimidating feel, like there are very serious matters going on in secrecy, and powerful people pulling strings you don't want to put your hands near. Even the guards have turned on you, and before you know it, you're imprisoned, locked in Markarth's notorious Sidna mine. During the investigation, the name Madanuk comes up as the culprit behind the elaborate conspiracy, and after asking around the prison mine, it turns out he is being kept in a private cell. This is where things get interesting, and after uncovering more, you have a choice to make. You can either side with the Forsworn who are trapped in the mine, killing a fellow inmate for them and helping them escape. You would then have to kill guards in Markarth and head to their Forsworn home at Druidak Redoubt, or you can side with the Silverbloods, killing Madanuk and escaping the mine alone. Siding with Madanuk will land you the armor of the old gods, while siding with the Silverbloods will get you the Silverblood family ring. One of the coolest things about this quest, aside from the many choices and varying outcomes, is the eeriness of having city guards and other citizens turn on the Dragonborn unexpectedly. It makes for a really unpredictable twist, and if you've completed Namira's quest before, man, it just makes Markarth an interesting but twisted place. Subscribe to FudgeMuppet and give the video a like if you enjoyed it. Thanks so much for watching, and do let us know what you thought in the comments section. Also, don't forget to head on down to the description to follow us on Twitter and our other social media pages. As always, it means so much that you support FudgeMuppet. I'm Michael, and I look forward to nerding out with you again very soon.